Sam Okus, Editor-in-Chief of Nation's Restaurant News, here with Alonso Castañeda, the Vice President of Strategy and Development for Savory Fund. Alonso, for those who are not familiar with Savory Fund and your guys' approach to restaurants, tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Sam. Savory Fund, we work with young brands that are 10 units or less typically in their infancy stage, brands that have gotten to a point where they realize they have to build a brand within their brand, like above store leadership, human resources, operations, to continue and grow. But sometimes either they don't know how or they need funds.
Right.
And at that stage, they're also too big for friends and family to help, and too small for institutional money to come in, right?
Yeah.
So that's where we come in. We find brands that are loved in their community. They're healthy brands, great culture, and we partner with them, put systems in place, and help them scale and grow.
So Swig, Hash Kitchen, Pincho.
Yeah, we got 7 of them.
Okay.
So we got R&R,
R&R.
Mobetas, Swig, Pincho, Hash Kitchen, The Crack Shack, and Via 313.
All super exciting brands and all in that early stage of growth, but you were saying that you're planning 85 restaurant openings.
Yeah.
And there's going to be much more to come after that, of course, but so many challenges out there today. How do you strategically grow in that way while still facing all of these challenges out there?
Yeah. So, when you have like 7 brands and they're all at different growth stages, brands like Swig and Mobetas, they're going to open the bigger chunks. Swig around 20-ish, Mobetas 15 or so, and then the other brands a few here and there. So, but it totaled up to about 85, and the biggest challenge right now that everyone's heard of is the world is running out of oranges and cement and drywall. So
Typical.
So that sometimes we have restaurants that are completely built out, and we're waiting for the electrical panel or the AC unit, and we just have to sit and wait until it arrives and we can open the stores. Sometimes it's a shipping disaster and it gets lost or it gets stuck. You name it, it's happening right now. So it's interesting interesting time to try and open 85 stores.
Do you have to get creative? Like, how can you get creative to get around some of those issues?
It depends on what it is. Sometimes there was one restaurant where we didn't have the right fryers that we wanted. Well, we rented some fryers for, I think it was like 3 or 4 days, and then we were able to get ours in. So things like that, yeah. Sometimes we didn't have our full refrigeration package.
Okay.
So we got a refrigerated truck. So when we can get away with things like that, and still check every box and follow our codes, then we'll go ahead and do it just to get our restaurants open.
So it doesn't make sense to pause development, and you're still looking for new restaurants.
Yeah.
You just trust that you'll be able to build them eventually, and it'll work out.
It takes a while to ramp up. When we first partnered with the brand, and we started looking at their layout and their equipment, it takes us a good year, maybe a year and a half, to really start finding the first locations, find the efficiencies in their kitchen layout, and then get the first one open. So if we don't start and keep going, we'll fall behind. It could be 12 months, and then there's just big gaps. So especially with real estate, you just gotta keep going, and if they get delayed, we work with it however we can.
Tell me a bit more about this process of getting in there and working with a brand when you first partner with them, because I know this is your job. You get in there and you find ways that operationally you can make it more efficient and successful, right?
Yeah.
So what does that process look like? What are you looking for?
Yeah, so it's going to be different for every brand, but we look for efficiencies in the operational system for the kitchen, efficiencies in their kitchen layout, efficiencies in their steps of service, in their process, and then we look at their tech stack. What are they using for the customer-facing efficiency, right? The better customer experience. So much of the business right now is digital and off-premise that we got to make sure the customer that's taking the food home or getting it delivered, that we still have those digital table touches and following that customer journey. So anywhere from digital customer journey, in-store experience, back of house efficiency.
Okay.
Yeah.
You also talking about, all of those restaurants are opening, you have to staff those restaurants.
Yeah.
We have a labor issue today, to say the least. What are you doing with the labor? How are you being
So
able
it's
to
a
find
great
these
time to
people?
open stores. No labor pool and no supplies.
Yeah, but still, go ahead, open the store, just see what happens.
You know, we have a great team. The way that our Savory platform works is that we have services that our brands can use, and we have a people operations team, and they get creative in so many ways, right? We do the traditional placing the ads. We do the old school way of having applications in the store. Any which way we can take applications and find team members, we do. With job fairs, sometimes there's locations that are harder, and we're giving away like AirPods if you come and work for us. Bonuses for working 3 months, for bringing someone, you name it, we're trying it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's look ahead a little bit. What are you? Well, let's first start with everybody's anticipating a recession, so that's coming around the pike.
Yeah.
Can you prepare for that in any way? Is there anything you can do to ride that wave, or?
You know, what I would say that brands should just start thinking about is what can you do, because if the recession comes, then customers will trade down, right? So start thinking about your menu. What value items can you offer? What value, I don't want to call it combinations, but let's say you have for R&R barbecue, you know, we have a 2-meat plate. We're looking at, okay, can we add an additional side of protein and another drink, so now it's a value meal for 2. And instead of buying 2 meals, you can do that. So, and we're just getting it ready, we're preparing, we're not implementing anything yet, but you have to start thinking about that. There has to be conversations about it so that if it starts to happen, you can move a little bit faster.
Okay. Good things in the future, though. Let's talk about innovation and new technologies. What's exciting you about the industry right now?
You know, everybody's been talking about technology now, right, for the last 2 years in restaurants, and how that's just blown up. The data that we're able to get right now with AI and the systems that are coming out with AI are very, very exciting. One of the ones that I'm really excited right now is sometimes I talk to different operators, and we can have a long discussion of we don't answer the phone or we answer the phone. There's no sales coming in through the phone, but I can tell you that there's lots of sales coming in through the phone, right?
Yeah.
So we found an AI company that we're launching in one of our brands, and we'll be able to not worry about answering phones and get some incremental revenue. We were able to see during the implementation process how many calls we're missing every single day. And the funny part is, you go to the GMs, right? And they're great GMs, great performing store, and you're like, hey, how many calls are you missing a day? And they're like, oh, we're on it. We're probably 1 maybe, but not today, or maybe 2. I said, so in a week, they're like 2 to 3, and then we do the data, and they're missing like 11 to 14 a day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's a lot of sales you're missing out on.
Yeah. So if you just look at it that way, and you take your average check, where it might be 27 or 35, and do the math times 14 calls, it adds up fast.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Alonso, last question for you. You guys are specialists in emerging brands. I've talked to a lot of emerging brands and operators lately, and you know, everybody is just, I mean, it just feels a little bit like a roller coaster of business these days. There's all these good things happening, but also all these headwinds. But I'm just curious, for those emerging brands who are watching this right now, what should they be doing right now? How should they be focusing their attention specifically right now to set their business up for success in the future?
You know, here's a few things. So some operators are just now incorporating third party, or you know, a better online ordering experience, and all that's great. You got to make sure that you in your store, in the back of house, if you're going to bring additional revenue in a different revenue stream, that your back of house can handle it, because you have all your loyal customers that are visiting your brick and mortar. You don't want to ruin their experience, because now you have, you know, all these digital orders.
Right.
And at the same time, you're going to open these channels. You want to make sure that you are taking care of those digital orders the right way. So, an example: if I walk into a counter restaurant and I want to order, and the team member is looking with their head down making a digital order, and I just waited in line 12 minutes to place my order, that's a bad experience.
Right.
Right? Or if I order it through a digital channel and I'm thinking that I'm very smart because I ordered ahead, I'm gonna show up and I'm gonna pick it up. And then I show up and they're like, it's gonna be 30 minutes for your order, sir. That's a bad experience.
Right.
So now you gotta think of both of those ways and take care of both sides and set up your operation inside to do that. And then the other thing I would say is test your system. So go online, place an order, get it delivered, place an order, go pick it up, your own. How easy is it to place online ordering? Is it frictionless? The more smoother you can have it, then you know it's a good experience for the guest. But you got to try it so you can figure it out. Because sometimes you do it and you're like, oh, this is terrible.
Yeah.
So then you're more motivated to go and fix it.
Right.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. Alonso Castañeda, Vice President of Strategy and Development for Savory Fund.
Thank you, Sam.
Thank you for joining me.
Appreciate it.